geeks and fantasy fans and whatever else you are out there, welcome back. We are the nerds that know. Once again, you are stuck with the terrible twosome. Hey, everybody, I am the king of the goons. My name is Matt, and yes, the Goon Squad is soon to return, but we'll have more on that later. Let me kick it over to, I guess, my brother-in-law now, Tank.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we're related now.
Yeah, right. It's all one big happy damn family. Yeah, if you don't know, my brother Mark married Tank's sister-in-law, Duchess Bobby. I think we touched on that the last time, maybe. Has it been that long?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it.
Yeah, I think we did. So, yeah, now everyone's just related, and it's awful. Tank, what's going on, brother?
Oh, staying busy. Everyone getting sick. Yeah,
It's that time of year.
normal Colorado winter.
Yeah, right. And kids, right? It's
Yes.
because you got littles, and they're just petri dishes, bro.
Oh yeah, the big one got strep, and the other one got some sort of chest cold of some kind.
Good God.
So lots of fun this week.
My older, younger sister, when we were kids, would get strep every single year, and
That's
I
not
never did.
fun.
I never did. Like I don't know what the difference was, but we went to the same school. I mean, we were together all the time. I never did.
Oh, lucky you on that one.
I know, right? Well, let's get right into it. What's first on the docket, bro?
Well, one of the bigger stories that came out in the last couple weeks is that Henry Cavill has officially left The Witcher and to be replaced by one of the Hemsworths.
Yeah, Hemsworth the Younger taking the mantle of the Witcher. There has been quite a bit of, shall we say, pushback.
Oh, yeah. I believe last I saw there was multiple protests and they're not happy about it, which I mean, what are you going to do? He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Right, I get it, and there's the knee jerk reaction always is, well, someone's pushing him out, and the writers are making a terrible decision. And guys, read between the lines here. He's stepping away. He's
Well,
done with it.
he recently stepped into a previous role once again.
Right.
So, and I'm guessing that's going to take up a decent chunk of his time in the near future.
Right. And that The Witcher, like a lot of those fantasy series, is so time consuming, right?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
all
The shooting
the
is
shooting
months.
schedule, and with green screens and doing stuff on location, and it's just it takes years to put stuff like that together in some
Some of
cases.
it, yeah.
So I here's the thing. Even when you go back to the Witcher games, right? That the look and feel of the character changes, the voice changes, right? It's just the nature of the beast. He can't be the Witcher forever, you know. Much as we wanted him to, Matt Smith couldn't be the Doctor forever. It has to change, right? You just have to go along with it. I'm going to give him a shot. It's a fantastic show. You're still going to get one more season because he's leaving after season 3.
Yep.
So this change is going to take effect in season 4, and we'll see what Liam Hemsworth brings to the table. He's got a little bit of nerd cred on his own, but
I was gonna say he's got his own. He's done some stuff. You
yeah,
know, you got to give him a chance to make something happen.
right. How really difficult is it to look brooding and say "fuck"?
That's not wrong.
I mean, I am dumbing it down a bit and playing with it for my own humor, but that was a lot of that first season was.
Yeah, it was brooding. His primal sexuality driving large chunks of the in-between space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The on again, off again with Yennefer, and
oh
yeah, all the rest of it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a good show. It's something I really enjoy watching, and I'm sure once season 4 starts and we get into it, and they'll come up with a way to soothe everybody and just say, okay, it's different, but I like it.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be fine. We're just venturing into a different, it's a different Geralt. That's all it is.
Right. It's still Geralt.
It's still Geralt. It's just a different guy playing him
Yep.
now.
He's still from Rivia.
Yeah, some
Still
of those
has his
petitions
horse.
were bananas.
I
One of them was
know.
like 200,000 signatures or something crazy like that. I'm like, that's an aggressive move, guys. That's
I know. And I saw unrelated. I saw another petition today for something else, and I don't even remember what it was. And I'm thinking, why? You're putting your name on something. They never change anything, right?
because
I
it's
can,
worked twice.
right? Yeah, twice, right?
It's
It
worked
worked.
twice.
It worked in '68 when they canceled Star Trek after season 2.
It's worked 3 times then.
3 times. What are
I
the other
actually
2?
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Second time was Sonic.
Oh
We got the
yeah,
reshoots
Sonic.
on Sonic.
Reshoot on Sonic. That's right.
And then we got the Snyder cut of Justice League released.
Right.
Those are the most 2 recent things.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of the petitions,
Yeah.
we've gotten 2
Two.
in
Two
the
have
last
worked.
few years.
Yeah.
So I
And you
don't
got a Firefly movie.
Oh, yes, that's right. They did the Serenity or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, which I liked. I liked
Which was
Serenity.
almost 2 decades. Was that 2 decades ago? Jesus. Was that
Oh,
really?
good God. Was that?
Is that old, right?
That's why
Firefly?
God invented Google.
I'm gonna Google
Serenity
that, yeah.
film.
Firefly.
I'm looking at the Serenity film right now. Here we go.
2002 to 2003, and Serenity was, what, like a year later?
2005. Yeah, because
So,
yeah, it was a year and a half later or so, because we only got a season
yeah.
of Firefly. Canceled it.
Okay, so
Hey, you
still
never
over 2
underestimate
years
the
ago.
power of nerd rage, but
Oh, no. But and here's the biggest thing. They're not being blocked. It's not something that needs to be reshot. It's not something
right.
being blocked by a studio. This is the
Mm-hmm.
actor's decision to step away.
Correct.
He no longer wants to do it.
Right.
No one's forcing him out the door. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to go be Superman again. Can't
I
fault him for
mean,
that.
I can't
Yeah.
blame him for that. I mean,
No, he wants to be Superman again. He always wanted to be
right.
Superman. That was the biggest thing.
Let me throw another thing that just struck me at you.
Mhm.
What if it's not just Superman? What
Oh,
if
yeah.
he's Bond and just hasn't told anyone yet?
I would be super cool with that, but who was the I guess they didn't officially name they hinted at the one person potentially taking the spot.
Right. There's been rumors and innuendo, and I I
Henry
wouldn't
Cavill
be
as 007 is
oh
yeah.
God. I mean, what a
That would get a
follow-up.
lot of people going
Yeah,
back to that series.
right. That's Roger Moore following up Sean Connery. 100%.
Oh, hey, that'd be interesting. I'd be all
Mhm.
for that. Sure, let's make Henry Cavill do it.
I have
Apparently
heard
since
nothing. I have read nothing. That's just a thought that hit my head. It's like maybe could be
apparently they
wishful
won't
thinking.
let Idris Elba do it, or he doesn't want to. I'm
I
not sure
don't think he
which.
wants to, and as much as I would love that, I think that ship sailed 20 years ago. I don't know if
Probably at least 10 years ago, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
Fortunately.
love Idris Elba, and I think he
Yeah.
would be fantastic at it. But at this point in his career, he ain't that guy
He
because there's
is
not
kind
going to
of
be any
that.
legs. There's not going to be any longevity to it, right? I mean,
Well, he
I think
was
he's 60, right?
I think he's in his 50s. I don't think he's 60 yet though.
Oh, that's why God invented Google. Let's see. Wikipedia. Oh, he's a DJ. I didn't know that. Hodor's a DJ?
I actually did not. That's odd. He's exactly 50 years old.
He's
As
50.
of
He's fucking my
2
age.
months ago, he is 50 years old.
Yeah. Jesus. He's 11 months older than I am. I am a piece of shit. This guy's an international sex symbol, and I'm on a nerd podcast.
And he's making
Yeah.
3 movies currently. So I think he could still do it, but whatever.
Yeah, 50's not too bad. All right,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, his DJ name is DJ Big Driss.
That's not good. That's probably why
I'm,
that didn't work.
I'm gonna find that tour.
Should have been DJ Black Superman.
I did try to go see the Rave of Thrones when Hodor came through Denver a few years back, but the timing just didn't work. That would have been awesome.
Oh,
With everyone shouting, "Hold the door! Hold the door!" Just
I'm
as
assuming it went that way. Yes.
yeah, I'll bet. It was going to be at the church here in Denver. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been there or not, but that would be a perfect spot for it because it's all medieval and gothic.
That sounds like. Oh my god, that church is. Church was always bad news for most
Oh
people.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Been there twice. Been there twice. All right. Well, so
went there a couple times, but yeah.
yeah. The I think at the end of this, we say, hey, everyone, calm down. Let's give it a chance. You still have season 3. Sign a petition if you want, if it makes you feel better, but it ain't going to change anything because the man has clearly moved on and he wanted to move on. And if you read either of the tweets that he or Hemsworth put out, man, what a baton pass that was. That was awesome.
Well, and like you're saying, that's the biggest difference on this one versus any other one. It's his choice to step away. No one's forcing him out. No one's trying to do something creative and new or spin anything off. He wants to do something else. We don't know. We know one of those things. We don't know what else there is, but we know one of those things, and one of those things is very damn time consuming for these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Those DC movies take forever. I mean, a lot of it's a waste of money, but they do take forever to finish them.
Right. He's like the only redeeming thing going on. I mean, besides Gal, I love her portrayal of the character, and Wonder Woman, the first one, was awesome. I think they shit all over us with 1984.
That was disappointing, yeah.
Yeah, but between the two of them, they're amazing, right? And everything else has just been. I have no faith in the DC EU.
Well, especially since we literally have no idea what balance there is at this point. We don't even know what it is anymore because they've gone back and forth so many times on what version of what story is part of their timeline still.
Right. Which universe is it? What reality is it? Where in the timeline are we? I mean,
well, that actually is a piece of news that came out too. We should touch on that. Who the new head of DC movies
DC Films, yeah, DC Studios,
Films.
yeah, Mr.
That's
James Gunn.
Yeah, that's a not surprising but very interesting move to just hand him the reins and say, "All right, go. You're our Kevin Feige now. Go make something happen."
Yeah, I mean, he's got a depth of knowledge. I think that he's been able to demonstrate, and I really liked the Guardians movies, and I think the way he did those and was able to play with characters and potentially start to introduce some other stuff, especially with the Adam Warlock stuff that they teased, but we still haven't seen 5 years later. But he definitely understands. He gets the assignment, right? He understands what he's supposed to do. Understands kind of how to tell the story.
Well, yeah. Look what he did with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was awful.
It wasn't awful. It was crazy as shit, but it wasn't awful.
Right. As it would be for him, right? And then
he did what he could with what they kind of required of him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then Peacemaker.
And Peacemaker was amazing. I love Peacemaker.
I know.
I don't care what anyone says. I thought.
I don't know anybody who didn't like it.
There's a lot of people who didn't, apparently, and they're all not paying attention, I don't think, to how that story was being told and why it was being told that way.
Right.
But
that's DC's small screen version of the Deadpool style,
oh
with
yeah,
the over the top and the zany and the gore and the violence and
crazy
the
violence,
language.
ridiculous characters. Yeah,
Right, right. Which is probably why it worked.
That's exactly why it worked. And because for some reason, John Cena is like the best deadpan comedian that exists currently. For some reason, don't really know how that happened, but
I don't either. Like, what school did you go to, bro? I watched years ago. There was some documentary about the pro wrestling, and
mhm,
they were talking about some of what it takes to get into pro wrestling, and they started at the top, and they were talking about all the stuff that was happening in the WWE at the time, and
yeah,
then they went to it's not it's NXT now, but it was something else then, OWF or something.
FCW and OEW
Yeah, something like that.
were
It
the
was it was the
precursors.
yeah, the stuff they had going on in Florida, and then they went to a independent itty bitty circuit, that had a little bit of cred in the industry in Massachusetts, and they actually focused in on a young John Cena,
Oh, I remember that when he was
and
doing the powerlifting
yeah, they was doing the powerlifting, and they gave him like this robot character and having him
prototype.
cut. Yeah, prototype. That was it.
Prototype John Cena. Yes, that was bad.
Right.
That was
And it was
bad.
so bad. It was so bad. But I mean, you got to start at the bottom and work your way up, right? You just don't walk into the ring, in Madison Square Garden and cut a promo in
Mhm.
front of the millions and millions of Rock's fans and just nail it, right? You've got to
Not unless you're Chris
really work on it.
Jericho. Yeah.
Well, Jericho had some other stuff that he had
He
done
also
too.
had 15 years of experience at that point, so
Right.
yes.
Right. Right. I mean, Jericho had a hell of a run in Japan. I mean,
Oh, that exactly. He had the
yeah,
run in Japan, he had the Super Juniors and then the
yeah,
WCW stuff and
yeah.
all that.
Wasn't he in ECW for a cup of coffee?
A very short time, I think he was.
Yeah,
He was one of
just for
those
a little
ones that
bit.
was there for,
Yeah, he
for
wasn't he
taping
wasn't
or
one of the
something like that.
lifers. He
No.
he wasn't a Sandman or
Oh, he wasn't even there as long as Eddie or Chris when they were
right.
there.
Mhm. Right.
But that's exactly where he got his chops, though, I think, is WWE.
Yeah.
Because when he was on the verge of being fired, they made him the doctor of thugonomics and allowed him to,
Yeah.
be a character and be himself at the same time.
Yep, and he ran with it and went over the top. Who knew?
Yeah. But yes, I'm happy for James Gunn. I think that's a good move for
Right.
DC Films. Now all they have to do is stop fucking cutting their movies to take tax credits on them. Let's
Right.
stop doing that for a little bit and let
Right.
you follow through on some shit.
Right. And they did that to Batwoman,
Batgirl, God, that
or
made me mad.
Batgirl. I have a feeling we're never going to see the Flash, but that's got less to do with tax credits and more to do with the fact that Ezra Miller is a
Yeah.
psychopath.
That the lead star is a convicted felon
You're right, and a creep. Like, what
and
are
a
you
creeper.
doing,
Yeah,
dude? Like, I like you. What is up?
yeah. I liked what was going on, and then
Yeah, I was like, oh, this will be a fun
they just took an
Flash.
awkward turn and
Yeah.
started committing
Oh,
felonies.
yeah. That arc. Like, what are you breaking and entering for? I mean, come
Yeah.
on. I don't know what they're thinking, but
No.
holy smokes.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Unbelievable. Related to that, and I don't know when this came out, but I saw, um, it might have been on TikTok. Someone was interviewing Jason Momoa, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
talking about how James Gunn had just taken over, and it was either Gunn or one of the other major players at DC
Mhm.
Studios had actually tweeted a picture of Lobo, and they showed it to Jason Momoa, and he went, "Oh my god, oh my god, that's perfect." Oh, like, you could see like the eyes get big and the wheels start spinning. Like, listen, Aquaman, you're already pretty good at doing what you're doing. Holy smokehouse home skillet! Look what we have here. It's a triumvirate of pain. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Surprise
nerds
guest.
of all
Hello,
ages,
boys.
welcome Gull to Goon.
What's
Apparently
happening,
filming
guys?
from a Nokia brick phone.
Just talking about how James Gunn has taken over the
Sounds like
DC Studios lead.
Say it again.
Oh yeah, he got the blessing from Feige. Hello,
Hello?
We hear
are
you.
you guys?
You hear us?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, he got the blessing from Feige to do that. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, to step away.
What's am I on a
Right.
delay?
Maybe. Your resolution sucks. Looks like you're filming on a
All right, give me
Nokia
a second.
phone.
All right. Figure it out.
Man, just like that, the Golden Goon has left the building. Oh, good sweet nerds.
He's checking on his stuff. It looks like he's going to be coming back in a second. All right.
Right.
But yes. Which is interesting that if they let him switch over, because I'm assuming they're not going to have him be Aquaman and Lobo.
Right. I don't. They didn't actually say, we want Momoa. They just happened. One
They
guy
should.
tweeted a picture of Lobo, and then the guy that was interviewing Momoa showed it to him. Momoa went, "That's awesome," because I think that's what he wanted to do originally.
I
But
think he was, yeah.
like we're so far away from actually getting a good Lobo on the big screen. We got Lobo in the Superman precursor series, Krypton.
Yep.
And he was hilarious. That guy was, that guy was awesome. I loved
That was
everything that he did.
basically the only redeeming quality of that series, to be honest. It wasn't good.
It was okay. It was boring and plotted along a bit, but
When we knew exactly where it was going.
Right.
How are you going to tell the story about people who didn't die until way later?
Right.
I have no idea what that story is supposed to be, but welcome back.
Hello.
Oh, look. Hey, buddy.
Better?
A little bit. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I think I'm on a little bit of a delay still. Maybe.
Slightly. It looks like you're a couple seconds off.
Yeah.
That's right. We'll just wait.
Yeah,
We'll give the
We'll
pause.
say something and wait. Yeah, we were just talking about in an interview with Jason Momoa, one of the DC Studios guys had actually tweeted out a picture of Lobo, and the guy that was interviewing Momoa showed it to him and said, "This just came out on Twitter." And Momoa freaked out. It's like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And you could just see how he wants to be Lobo. I'm not mad at that, but you can't do both. And how do you?
That's all right. Aquaman's a terrible character. Anyway.
He made Aquaman pretty cool
Yeah.
for a minute.
But Aquaman is still a bad superhero. Just because Jason Momoa did it doesn't make it a good superhero. You can go away. We can get Lobo. It'll be fine.
Well, I mean, he's
Why
not.
don't you like Aquaman?
He's not a bad superhero. He's been presented bad. Oh,
In the comic, terrible.
sometimes, but he's also badass, and he's like super strong and all that stuff. He has,
Mhm.
the control over water, which isn't. He can do that to people if they actually let him do it.
Right.
That's all right. Recast him and play him down. That's fine. Let's get a Lobo that's actually worth a shit.
All right. So there's two different lines of conversation we had here.
Lobo.
I was just going to say, who are you going to throw at Aquaman then?
Let's see.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
who
not
do you
sure.
put in there? Do you go down the same
Just kill Aquaman
road?
off. Screw it.
You can't kill Aquaman off.
Why not? You can kill Superman and Batman and all these comics. Spider-Man's died like 7 times.
Right.
All the
I mean,
Avengers.
they got the,
Kill Aquaman
It's a great-
off. There's got to be some consequences.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't think you should kill Aquaman off.
I don't think you kill Aquaman off.
You can kill off Iron Man, but you can't kill off Aquaman.
I mean, Iron Man was in 800 movies before they killed him off. Let's get Aquaman at least a little bit of a run before we start talking about icing the dude.
Ryan
It's funny
Gosling.
to say ice.
Oh,
Make him put on 30 pounds of muscle,
Gosling.
and then make
I was-
Ryan
yeah,
Gosling.
I was trying to think like a fair-haired cat, right? That
Uh-huh.
be a little bit more true to what we knew as kids.
Get closer to the
right?
comics. Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Friends Aquaman. He'd be a Super Friends Aquaman. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
Hi guys, let me summon my dolphins.
All right, hold on a second. So, the worst superheroes were Jace and Jaina, the Wonder Twins. Tell me
yeah,
how
I mean,
useless this is. One could be any animal she wanted. The other had to turn into a bucket of water to get carried around. It was like, come
Right.
on, dude.
Yeah. It wasn't amazing.
No, God, it was bad. I was 8 and I knew that was bad. I'm like, what? Turn into a rain cloud or something and fly, bro. I mean, you got to get your sister to turn into a pterodactyl and carry you around in a Home Depot bucket? I mean, this is awful.
How about Alexander Skarsgård?
Oh, I'm not mad at that either.
Give him more of like that swimmer body type of
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good one. That's
That'd
a
be
good
good.
one.
And plus, he's got like a huge unit apparently, so put him in some put him in some tights.
So the ladies aren't missing anything in the
Yeah,
package
exactly.
holder.
You don't get Jason anymore, but look at Alex's giant penis. You
We
know,
have to cast Aquaman, and we have to cast Aquaman's whale dong.
I mean that's
Well, I mean, I guess if you're going
Watch
to
it.
follow in Jason Momoa's footsteps, you have to have something back.
exactly. You got to do something.
I mean, I haven't seen that guy naked, but I've seen him basically naked. I know what he's housing.
Yeah, they hinted at it. No, what the hell show was he on? The vampire thing,
Peacemaker.
huh?
Wasn't he in Peacemaker?
Oh, he showed up at the very tail end. Yeah.
He showed up at the end. Yeah. Oh, damn it! What was that? He was in that vampire show or movie or something, whatever. And they got basically to where you could measure it on screen. You know, like okay, all right. Go ahead and put that away for a second. Like you life size that thing, it's basically an arm.
Oh, we've gone completely off the rails. We went from James Gunn to the size of Khal Drogo's unit.
This is what happens when you get the Goon brothers together.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, the Kaiser shows up. And
You
it's
never
all a
know what we're
mess
going to
for
talk
me.
about.
Never know. And I knew I said there were 2 different conversations to have, and I forgot what the other one was because we went down. We went down to, well, does he have a big enough dong? Well, he was in True Blood.
Well, the
Everybody
issue
saw it
is,
in True Blood.
yeah, continuing with him as Aquaman versus making him Lobo. You know,
Right. Right.
which
Mark.
he looks like Lobo, honestly. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
really try that
That's-
hard.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's already buff and big and, lots of hair.
Yeah, long dark
Dark.
hair,
Yeah.
piercing
Yeah.
eyes.
A little bit of, yeah.
Huh.
Give him the old insane clown posse makeup job, and he's off and running.
Well, hopefully not that silly, but
Tell
yes.
them about some magnets.
Say what, Mark?
Tell them about some magnets. The Insane Clown Posse.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
There it is.
okay. I forgot what we were going to talk about.
We're talking about Christopher Lloyd.
Yes, Christopher
Let's talk
Lloyd
about
and
Christopher Lloyd.
his potential return to the Back to the Future franchise. Even though
Potential.
he's
Right.
how old is he now?
106.
837.
Right.
As much as you might be joking, that's probably not far off. He's 84.
84.
He himself, and I thought he looked like terrible in 1985. He looks like a skeleton wrapped in, plastic now. I mean, he's still doing pretty good for 130.
Right. I think the line is when 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not.
Probably not. No, I would assume not.
My biggest challenge with, and he's done a couple of things post, like they've done a couple of small screen, bits, and he was in a cartoon, like voice he did the voice for Doc Brown. It's gonna be really hard to, if they do anything on the big screen and not have Marty. I know, Michael J. Fox is really struggling with his disease, and it's just not been good. It's going to be really difficult for a lot of people to accept just Doc Brown and Hero A, whether it's, Marty Jr., whoever they pick, or whatever that would look like. I would just have a hard time with that.
Well, and I honestly
Bring back
don't.
Biff's grandson.
There you go. Well, and I don't know. I mean, he knows something. So at the very least, he seems to be part of some pre-production staff of some kind or something like that.
Yeah, but what does it look
It
like?
was super vague.
Yeah,
it was
very,
super vague.
very
And then
vague.
right after he posted that, he did actually post pictures of himself with Michael J. Fox. There were 2 or 3 right on the internet with the 2 of them. So it could just be that they're doing that charity site where they're selling all the memorabilia together, and that could be all there is to it. It may not even be a movie. It's just he's teaming up with Michael J. Fox again. So I mean, we'll see. I guess
could be. That's a good way to drum up some interest and excitement around it and have people talk about it. I mean, what the hell are we doing? We're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah, true. Could just be that. It literally could just be that, trying to get eyes to that Back to the Future shop thing that they're doing.
Right.
So maybe. I don't know.
It's interesting.
Matt, I didn't realize that it was pool season in Parker.
Yeah. This is part of the new kitchen. So that the new kitchen's right behind me.
Yeah.
We have a pool in the kitchen.
You have a pool now? So, that's impressive.
Yeah. Got the smoker out here. It's sunny at 8:45 at night.
Yeah, pretty seriously.
Right. Just turn that sucker up and vacuum pack something and drop it in there. Yep. Sous vide myself. Humans are delicious.
I doubt that.
Taste of chicken.
We eat horrible things. We can't taste good.
Tastes like a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That you pulled out of a dumpster. Yeah, maybe.
It tastes like spare ribs and potato salad.
Well, yes, until future information comes out, we don't really have much to go on. Just that they're hinting at something of some kind.
Something's coming. We don't know what. Interesting. Yeah. Like I said, if it's more than just a brief something or other, like I said, I think it's going to be super difficult for everyone to really buy in without Marty.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, what's next?
Did
you guys already do House of the Dragon?
No, we have not. We have not done House of the Dragon.
That's it. Yep. House of the Dragon.
Are you caught up?
This close to finishing the season.
Oh,
are you
watched
serious?
All the way through 10 and a half. So that's where we're at now. I think we're real close to the end of the season.
Yeah, but the very end is
so that's the whole point. Is we were going
that's the big kick in the balls,
right? It's we're 10 days after it was outside of the spoiler window, but now you're here.
No, go ahead and talk about it. Probably like in the next 10 minutes of my TV watching anyway. So,
Are you sure?
Where are you at specifically?
specifically, let's see. Corliss had just signed, and then they just he just got off of the draft. He just went to go see the Baratheons, and got on the dragon. Is now leaving, and he was flying away. And I assume the other Targaryen kid comes over and fucking smashes that kid.
You are literally at the
You're
very
right
end.
there. You're
Dude,
right
you could have
fucking
watched
there.
like 5 more minutes and it would have been over.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
all it would take. What are you doing?
we had some stuff come up. Okay.
Oh,
Like, oh my god.
yeah, you are literally at the end.
All right.
That is the last. What is it? Not even. Is it even 10 minutes after that?
It may not even be that.
Yeah.
It may not even be that.
Ah,
I know.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Like I said, go ahead.
This hurts. Okay. So Rhaenys sends, the sons out to go talk to, the lords, right? And they're acting as messengers. And we all saw when, which one is it? The names are always screw me up. The younger son, right? He shows up at Storm's End to talk to Lord Baratheon, and Aemon is there. And, there's always been that tension ever since the fight in the cave, after, Aemon lost the eye. It almost as a fight, right? And to his credit, Baratheon, he says he's a guest in my house, will not have bloodshed here. So he takes off, right? And here comes Aemon on Arax.
Jesus, yeah.
There's a Top Gun level chase scene that's just spectacular, and you can see how like they're having a hard time. Both of them are having a hard time really like controlling the dragons.
Yeah, the dragons are starting to act on their own.
Right. And the kid's dragon, that things happen and they fly around, and you don't think anything's going to happen. You think the kid gets away, and Aemon's up above, and next thing you know, the little dragon comes out of nowhere and spits like a little drop of fire on him, and Arax loses his shit. And
he like blinds it. He looked like he tried to blind the other dragon.
yeah, it looked like he did, but I mean, it's dragons and it's fire, so I mean,
yeah.
You'd think there'd be a little bit of a built-in immunity, right? I think they're plus 20 resisting fire damage. Oh, we lost him again. All right, see ya.
Okay, I'll continue.
Right, and when Arax comes out of nowhere and just smokes that poor little dragon and tears it in half.
Bites it in half and swallows the kid whole.
Swallows the kid, and Aemon just looks, and he's got that look on his face like, oh, I fucked up.
Oh yeah, there's a 1,000-yard stare hardcore on that one.
Like, what have I done? What have I done? And thus begins the Dance of Dragons. Really?
Yeah, and then the finalizes with Daemon telling his already kind of angry and very angry at this point already wife what just happened
right
to her child, and she wants to light the world on fire, it looks like, at this point.
Yeah, she's going full Daenerys.
Yeah.
And that legitimately does start the what they call the Dance of Dragons, which is the war of House Targaryen against House Targaryen.
The
But it
fall
was,
of many houses
yeah. I
is
mean,
beginning.
yeah. I mean, we're still a ways away. Like we're still 150 years away from the Blackfire Rebellion. So that the Targaryens go. The
Something like
Targaryens are
that.
going to go another 300 years, right? We're 300 years even before Robert's Rebellion.
Well,
So
based on how they timelined it, I think we're 200 now. Like
okay,
this, like where they're officially recognizing the beginning of the House of Dragons is roughly 200 years
okay,
prior to the events of Game of Thrones.
right. I'd heard 3, but whatever.
It could be 3,
right,
but the last I saw was 2. So I don't know if
right,
they. I think in this books it's longer than it is in their storyline.
right.
So I think that's how they kind of balanced it. It looks
Yeah,
like.
I think there's 6 more kings to go before we get to the Mad King and Eris 2.
Yeah.
Before he lights everyone on fire and Jamie has to cut his throat. All that is well documented, right?
Yes.
And I hope I hope that this kind of continues. Like we already know we're going to get a season 2, and we're going to get the conclusion of the Dance and Dragons, and
Mhm.
the what is the final fight between 2 of the characters who own dragons. I know the end of the story. I won't spoil it if anybody doesn't, but there's a pretty historical fight that happens between 2 major dragons and 2 major characters, and there's people jumping off dragons and killing each other. It's going to be awesome if they do it right.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm so excited. But then once you get past that, then you can skip, because this series skips a lot already, right? So let's skip then to the Blackfire Rebellion, when another Targaryen king starts recognizing bastards because he's just screwing everything in the world and just has bastards everywhere. And now you have all these different Targaryens who are, the rivers and sands and stones. And then he legitimizes all of them. And then they all think they have a claim to the throne. And, one of them goes and founds the Golden Company and, Bittersteel. And that's the beginning of, that whole Blood Raven and Master Aemon and that whole bit. They're all related to that. So
Yeah.
there's still Blackfires like running around in Essos who are not in the story. I don't know if we'll ever actually see them on the screen, but they're actually floating around because they do things. Right? They're mercenaries, and like I said, you got Blood Raven, who's the 3-eyed crow, and Master Aemon, was supposed to be the king and he turned it down, and all that stuff. So I hope we get Blackfire, in season 4 or 5, whatever they keep going.
I was gonna say, it depends on how long they actually
Right.
stretch the Dance of Dragons.
Right. I don't know, unless they take a lot of license with it. I don't know if it could go longer than another season. The way it's headed and the way they've had the cadence of the story up to this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they could. They could. I don't know if it would go well if they went more than a season, and then at the end of season 2, the dance is over, and then all the dust settles, and
You got to go on from there and tell some of the other bits and pieces and everything that comes out of it that leads up to the rebellion.
Right. I'd love them to tell the story of Eris too. I mean, that descent into madness that he has, and they touch on it a bit in the books, and there's some other literature out there about how he just is losing his mind on the throne and just gets worse and worse and worse and worse until the Kingslayer has to do Kingslayer stuff, and next thing you know, you've got Robert and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting. I'd like to see him do it.
That'd be cool. I think they should do it.
Mm-hmm. Did you miss it, Mark? Did we spoil it for you? Were you able to hear it? Is it a mew?
That is a mew.
Are you impressed? Are you impressed that I knew that?
Slightly, actually, yeah. Not gonna lie, that took me aback.
At a 50-50 shot, I'm like, that's either a mew or it's a meowth, and I think it's a mew, so I'm gonna go with mew.
If you're ever confused about the two, just think about that giant stuffy in my room. That's Meowth.
Yeah, the one with the gold coin.
Oh yeah, he's got the thing. I forgot about the thing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right, so that's House of the Dragon.
That's House of the Dragons. Yes.
Season 2
What
is
is
already
your
in
input? What do you
production.
think on the
I
series? Since you
did miss the conclusion, but I think I know where it's going. So
The way that it gets there.
if you know Game of Thrones, you kind of know where it's going.
Right. And the way that it gets there is pretty intense. So
Oh god, that's awesome how it gets there.
Yeah. That franchise has a way of making me sit on my couch and go, "Oh my god. Oh my god." Even though I know what the fuck is coming, I'm like, "Oh my god. They're not. They did. Oh my god." And then I look at myself like, "Motherfucker, you already knew." Like, what is wrong?
the thing about House of the Dragon that I would thought was funny is anytime that they talk about incest in the show, it's almost like like when they're talking about when his daughter is still young, and he's like, "You could marry him off to your son," and his first thought's not, "No, that's his brother or her brother." His first thought is, "He's like 2 years old," and then never mentions that they're actually related. And
It's not the
they do that
incest part; it's
5
the
or 6
age part.
times
Yeah.
throughout the show where they incest is just like glossed over, and there's like something else that's like a problem with the relationship that has nothing to do with the fact that they're related.
Right. Well, the Targaryens did that for centuries. That's what they did. They wanted to keep the blood of the dragon pure. So there was a lot of marrying off and
That's
siblings
inspired by
swapping.
real life. I mean, that's inspired by real. What's that creepy family with the weird chin?
The Royals.
They're all related to
The Royals.
The Royals. Yeah.
The goddamn queen.
Right.
Yeah, but they all come from the same family. What the hell was it? Because they all come from the same family, and they all have that weird deformation with their face because of years and years and years of inbreeding.
Are you talking about that group of like Arkansas rural folks that all live in the same?
No,
like
not them. I'm talking about the actual English dynasties.
Oh.
Well, it begins with a W. It's like the Winchesters or some.
Oh
shit
well,
like
it's the House of Windsor is the current
Windsor,
ruling
yeah.
house of England, right?
Right.
And one of the historical sources that George pulled when he wrote Game of Thrones was the War of the Roses. That isn't necessarily beat for beat, but he did the elements of what happened in history with the War of the Roses and put it into, the 5 current books that we have of the story of Westeros.
The Habsburgs. That's what I was trying to think
Habsburgs.
of. The Habsburgs.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're connected to like every royal family.
Right.
And that they're all like centuries of inbreeding led them all to have like this weird distorted jawline.
It just struck me as funny that every time that they talk about the inbreeding and stuff, like it's so normalized that they're like, she sinned, she was in the sex den with her uncle, but she's not married. Like,
yeah, why is that the worst part?
Yeah, like the same thing when he's trying, like I said, when he's trying to get her married off, he's like, well, you could marry him to your son, and his first thought is, oh, he's 2, not It's just funny. They do that a couple of times. It makes me laugh every time. I'm like, that's the problem.
Right. But again, that's what they did. I mean,
yeah, that's real history, unfortunately.
Right. That's also
we know
what they
that,
did.
but it's still
Right.
Oh no, it's horrifying when you look at it. Yeah.
Right.
Like, why is that the weird part? Where's that?
Well, and you can tell that like the roots of House Targaryen and House Valyrian obviously share a common tree stump, like that family tree. Right. There's not a lot of fork there. And then they're trying to marry him. to parody up an old Foxworthy joke.
And I'm sorry, I can't remember names just because it's the first time I've watched through it. But the prince becomes queen. Why does she have like the worst part of birth scenes like I've ever seen? Like she has to give birth to the kid and then drag him up the stairs to go see the queen, and then she has the first scene in the second, which is that it's like just very intense and like overwhelming. Holy shit, that's graphic.
One of the prevailing themes in the whole series is the truth of a mother, and what that means, in a not only a familial dynamic but in a societal dynamic, and they play on that a lot, even throughout the 8 seasons of Thrones. There's a lot of like that thematic bit about moms, right, and what they mean and what they are. I rewatched. I didn't rewatch, but I one of the things I get on my For You on TikTok, someone just posts scenes from the last season of Thrones, and some of that. I mean, season 8 wasn't great, but there's some scenes in there that are like, holy shit. And the one that I saw yesterday, Tyrion's talking to the Maester at the walls of King's Landing, and Missandei's up on the top of the wall, and the Queen's there, and the zombie mountains behind her, and Tyrion walks up to the wall and looks at his sister, and he's like, I don't want to see this place burn. And as a mother, you've always loved your children. You've always loved your children more than anything, more than Jaime, more than being queen, more than whatever. And don't do this, because I don't want this city to burn. And I've always loved Peter Dinklage as an actor, and that scene was one of his best, I thought. But again, it goes back to the themes of a mother's truth and what a mother has to sacrifice, go through, experience, endure. And that's part of Rhaenys's journey, right? There's not just because her mom died, so she doesn't have that figure until she circles back with Rhaenyra. I think that's supposed to be Gull.
I figured. I just thought it was funny.
Congrats, Gull, on your marriage. There you go.
But yeah, and also part of it is the misogyny that the men are in power just because, and they can be, they're just automatically in power, and that the women that try to pursue power have to just absorb trauma nonstop to get to that point.
Yeah.
And they have to fight through just so much to get to that point. Whereas for the males, it's their birthright because they're male.
Handed to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that comes to a complete head in the scene in the Iron Throne, where they're trying to figure out who's going to take over. Not Storm's End, not
Dragonstone.
Not Dragonstone. Seastone. Where
the Tides, the Master of Tides.
Yeah, it was going to be the Master of Tides and take over that castle.
Yep.
Which is it's not far from King's Landing. It's there in an island off the shore, where House Valerian, where House Valerian is, and Corlys's brother. That scene's actually really cool when he turns around and looks, and he's like, her sons, and Matt Smith just looks and say it, and he doesn't just say they're bastards. Like everybody knew, everybody understood. Like husband's gay, they're gonna do their own thing. It was a political marriage, but then he went the extra step and called her a whore because she actually dared to go and find love outside of the marriage to this guy's nephew. And that was the squaw that stroked the camel's sack and off with his head.
And I like that it wasn't a traditional head cut off.
Yeah.
It was like 3/4 of his head.
Yeah.
Was cut off.
Right through his mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, all right.
I actually kind of liked how they did that, and it wasn't just a traditional, beheading. It's like, no, we're gonna cut this guy's head in half, actually.
Yep.
One more thing I'll say about the show. The king, I know that was kind of the point, was like, okay, he was supposed to die 20 years ago, and here he is just holding on to the edge of life. But like just watching him just fucking melt.
Yeah, he's
like really melt.
Yeah, he's like the crypt keeper by the end of it, missing like half his face, and That's
Jesus
brutal
Christ,
way to
that was
die.
crazy.
Yeah. And it started in episode 1 when he sets his finger on the Iron Throne.
Yep.
That was the start of all of it.
Yeah.
King
Lived
Viserys.
an extra
God
20
bless you.
fucking
You know,
miserable years.
when he said, "I'll have your tongue," and pulled out that dagger, right? We all know what that dagger is. He pulls out that dagger and says, "I'll have your tongue." I gave him a 50 shot of being able to act off, even though he was a hot mess and on his door. Like, man, you don't want to do that to some dude's daughter. I mean, that's just not what you do. And
right.
He's got one gash in him, right? He may have needed his guards to help him get to the room, but by God, he'll climb down and he'll try to get that tongue. I wanted to just half see it. Like, it could go well, could not go well. Is he going to do it? And then, Damon ended it for us all. He can keep his tongue on the floor. Blah, blah, blah. Well, all in all, great series. Can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, season 2 should be fun.
Yep. Right. Speaking of Thrones, have we talked about Jon Snow?
About what specifically?
There's a Jon Snow project in development.
I think we mentioned it when.
Did I miss it? Okay. I don't want to touch on it again if we already hit it, but
I don't remember though. It would have been a while ago.
Yeah, it would have been a while ago. I don't remember that specifically, but that doesn't touch on it because I don't remember what I had for dinner 2 hours ago.
Yeah, there is something in development. I remember that.
Yep. And it's unknown if it's a full show or if it's a limited series or what.
Let me take a quick glance and see. So there's something from 2 weeks ago, it looks like. Okay, so it's not going to be done before House of the Dragon season 2. That's basically all the information they have on it now. It's still in pre-production. So,
okay, cool.
That's all they really have. So, there you go.
There we go.
We'll shelve that for another day, right? All right. Yep. Take what else we got?
The only other thing I thought of was that Titans is
Andor.
Back on HBO. And Andor, yes, we do got to talk about Andor too. Yep.
Yeah. So Titans and Andor. So Titans is back on HBO Max. Fun series.
It's fun so far. We'll talk about it more once there's a little bit more, because they're on episode 2. So.
So
see which way they go with it.
All you nerds and geeks out there, let's watch Titans.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the show the entire time. So if you've enjoyed it, it picks up where it should, and it's a good watch.
It's fun.
And then Andor.
And then Andor, right? And Mark, are you at least caught up on Andor? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Andor's been great.
Right. Is someone else getting like vibes between the Spectre and the ex-corporate security officer? Like, is there a there? There could be some sparks at some point. It's odd and it's awkward, and like he grabs her arm, and in that world, anywhere anyone else even touches an Imperial off like that, you're dead. And she doesn't even shake her arm, shake his hand off her arm. So
I could see it.
Might want to play a little hide the blaster. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, he is a dude. That's a game oft played by us.
Correct. I think the other thing that was really interesting is they discovered the prison they were in, where they figured out that the one guy that got released got sent back, so nobody's actually leaving. And their old buddy, has the stroke, and Andor has always been trying to make sure that about how many guards, and he just won't tell them as they're walking away. He's like, how many guards? And then 12, and you just see how it all changes. Like, here we go, boy, Andor gonna get out. Here we go, go Cassian. They can quit building pieces of the Death Star.
Holy crap! That's some intense building right there, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
then more friends and you get flavor in your mush. Build less and we shock the shit out of you.
You're right. Yeah, everything you need comes out of this tube. And that screen right there tells you how many days you have left. Did you have to look at it? Fine.
Yeah, nonstop.
The only thing you have to look at yourself.
Yeah. Is the screen that shows you your number. How bleak. Fucking hell.
Wild.
Imperials were bastards. The last couple of days I went back and rewatched Rogue One because it's been a while since I'd seen it. And the Cassian we have now and the that was Rogue One are two totally different people. And you can see the build up and in every episode how it's not like huge growth, but it's incremental growth towards that like leader. And he's already a badass in his own right, but really being that true badass rebel, all in, all about it, completely willing to sell everything out to accomplish the mission, which I think is really cool that you can see that growth towards the Cassian we got in Rogue One.
Oh yeah. Well, and they definitely approached this,
which is kind of cool because most of the time people are when they show a character and you're getting the development and all that stuff, these things happen to them, but you didn't have any choice but to go through this in order to prosper and live.
And they're treating it with a lot more patience, but it's not slow patience.
Right.
They're building to something very slowly, and it makes sense that they're taking their time with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're right that it's a slow build, but it doesn't feel like it because there's these major events that happen. Like he kills the two outside the Blade Runner bar, and then he goes on the run, and then he ends up with Stellan Skarsgård, and they have to go do their thing, and then they steal money, and then he, that's another major beat, and then he goes home, and mom doesn't want to leave, so he has to leave, and then he gets arrested, and now he's in this place, and it's like it's taken us 9 episodes to get here. It's not like a lot, but these huge major events just keep pushing along. So it's patient, but there's enough going on along the way you're engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, and had he not had to kill those two guards, he'd probably still be doing whatever nonsense he'd be doing, But because of that just triggered this whole thing of just bad shit that keeps happening to him. And in order to get out of bad shit, he keeps having to do all more bad shit, It's like, all right, well, this is how you get turned into, rebel scum.
Yeah, exactly.
Over and over and over again.
Over. Right. And the allegory here is it's not just, the birth of Cassian as the rebel badass. It's the birth of the Alliance, and the two are tied together, both in the overall scheme of what's happening in the Empire, but also what's happening to Andor. Like it all fits at the same time. You can see what, and we talked about this last time, how it's really reflecting the plight of the common in the Empire and what the Empire is doing and how it's affecting them. And then you're getting this very human story about a guy who's just trying to figure out, and he just keeps getting pushed and pushed into these awful situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got we got this week's episode, and we got 2 more, right?
Yeah, this is 10 this
12.
week, I think. We have left. Yeah, I think it's 12.
So we'll see how they finish it off. But I've enjoyed it every step of the way so far.
Yeah. And on that note, and we didn't talk about it. They just casted the Acolyte, which we know next to nothing about. Yeah,
did they?
We know the cast. Yeah, I saw the cast photo in the last couple of days. The last person they featured, Carrie Ann Moss. Hell yeah!
Nice.
I think she's a perfect fit for whatever they want to do in that universe. She could be good. She could be bad. Don't care. She could have been Mon Mothma. I mean,
well, that'll be cool.
Hair color's closer.
Interesting.
And
that'll be
the
fun.
Squid Game actors in it. The main from Squid Game's in it, and there's a couple other names that escape me. I've seen.
When are we getting Squid Game season 2?
I don't know.
I don't know if we ever are.
God, they got to do it.
I think they said they were doing it.
They hinted at it, but I don't know if they ever confirmed that they were
that's why.
doing it.
That's why God invented Google.
Hello, Google.
Hello, Google. Squid Game season 2. Look at that. Came right up. I didn't even have to type season. It just said season 2. Oh, internet is slow.
I have
no release date. The end of 23 or 24. But they're doing it.
Well, yeah, because he has to write the whole story at this point because he wasn't planning on doing a season 2 initially.
Right.
So he'd have to storyboard the entire thing still.
Right. Officially renewed. Picked up in June. But it's going to be at least a year, probably 2.
I would assume 2. If he has to write the story still. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that'll be fun.
That show was awesome.
Yeah, that show was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All
right, Tank, we got anything else on the docket? Or are we good?
No, I think
all
that's
right.
it.
We teased it a little bit at the beginning of the podcast, but yes, the Goons are coming back. We do Nerds That Know every 2 weeks. In the off weeks, we will be doing the Goon Squad. Yes, My Brother Is an Idiot is returning live and in your living room. Multiple characters, a cast of thousands, sports, entertainment, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Thousands, Tank. Thousands.
It's going to look a lot like the. It's going to look a lot like the screen you see now.
I was going to say,
plus a couple others, maybe.
Right.
Do I need to start adapting some multiple personalities so we can fill out the cast of thousands?
Yes. I mean,
I don't know how we're going to keep the list.
500 of them up here. So.
I don't know how we're going to keep the list accurate now, though.
I know. We may have to flush the list and come up with a different bit. I do want to say it's interesting,
so
and I know it's interesting and karmic that 2 days after the hockey world went nuts and threw a fit about Boston signing that kid with that history with the disabled kid when he was a teenager, that the hockey gods decided, yeah, Evander Kane, it's time for you not to play hockey for a while.
That was wild, yeah.
That was crazy.
Honestly, not super surprising, but kind of wild how it happened.
I can't wait But Washington Waluigi's tomorrow.
I haven't seen that much blood on the ice since that goalie got sliced in the throat. That was
Oh God, that was brutal.
Oh
yeah, that was
yeah, and I think it was it Michelle or Michaela was a dipshit that said, yeah, people forget that they're skating on knife edges. I mean, they're basically razor blades on.
It's basically
shoes.
razor blades.
Yeah, razor shoes. Ugh. And he's a noted bad guy, and he's got a history of his own, which you never want to see anything like that happen. But I just found
he's
it
a total
interesting.
Bag, but you don't want to see somebody bleed to death on the ice.
Right, that's awful. When the whole thing happened with
might be actually wishing for him to die would be his ex-wife.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. But yes.
Right. I just, one of the things that first struck me when Boston announced signing that Mitchell kid or Miller kid was everyone's all upset about this, but what about why aren't we mad at Evander Kane? Oh yeah, because he scores 30 goals for Edmonton. That's why. Because we just forget. Yeah. So
yeah.
All right, Tank, you got any final thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Enjoy your nerd stuff. You don't have to fight about everything.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. Like, enjoy it. You can criticize. That's okay. You can say you would have done things better, but there's no reason to throw a fit. There isn't. It's okay. Watch something else. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine. There's more stuff out there to enjoy. You don't need to expend negative energy and bring that into your life. This is your moment of zen.
We got to save that for the fucking Broncos.
Yay. Goon, you got anything else you want to follow up with? Any final thoughts?
No, the Duchess says hello and she loves you guys out there. She was here, but she's a lawyer, so just wanted to pass that along. And Frank, we will see you on Sunday.
Yes, I'll see you guys Sunday.
Yep, and pass along our best wishes to the Duchess. Hope she recovers and feels much better very quickly.
Our drunken mother wants me to call you about Thanksgiving, so let's talk about that sometime soon.
What are you doing in 5 minutes?
Talking to you.
Rolling quarters.
Figured it out. Look at that. All right. So for Tank and the Goon, the Kaiser himself, and the absent Duchess, this has been Nerds That Know. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Adios.